Tarsam, thanks for coming in today and sharing your story with us. I'm interested to know, first of all, how were you first diagnosed? What were the early signs, and how did it come to attention?
Right, the early sign was in 2006. As I actually sort of used to go to the gym, I could feel tingling sensations in my back, and I didn't take too much notice of it. And towards the middle of 2006, I actually experienced some pain in my ribs, especially on the right hand side, and the pain wasn't sort of consistent. The pain was only a bit sharper when I actually bent down to pick something or some movement related. And also when I was in bed and turned over, the pain got sharper, and then it sort of died down. So I didn't take too much notice of it, and I did actually approach my GP, and then he said because I actually go to the gym quite regularly, it could be muscular strain, and I was given a course of some painkillers. But when I looked, it was diclofenac, but when I looked at the side effects of diclofenac, I hesitated to take any. And then so I just tolerated the pain, and then one day, just all the pains from the right hand side went over to my left hand side. So I went to my surgery, and they still said, "Karen, take the painkillers and it might go away." But I wasn't really sort of very happy with that. So I went to the A&E and explained the pains on my left hand side, and they quickly took me in and just wired him up for everything, all the tests and everything. So I had an ECG done, a X-rays done, blood sugar levels done, everything that you can name, all the tests they done. And within about an hour and a half to 2 hours, they discharged me and said that, Mr. Chand, you're a very fit and healthy person,
Okay.
and we can't see what's wrong with you.
Yes.
And then I went away quite happy, really, as though they can't find anything wrong with it, but the actual pains were still there. And then about a week after the visit to the hospital, I got a phone call from a secretary of Dr. Voltman, and this was actually from Glenfield Hospital, and he says, "We need you to come in, and Dr. Voltman wants to see you." So I got worried again, and then he says, "We need to check." Dr. Voltman's had a look at your X-rays, and he saw some sort of dark patches. So
these are the X-rays you had taken at A&E, are they?
Yes, right, yeah. These were the ones that which they said nothing wrong with me.
Yes.
And then I got a bit concerned again, but actually sort of went along to give some blood so they could do their tests. And then at the end of after the test, they said what they were looking for was TB, which turned out to be negative. So I built quite a bit of a rapport with Dr. Voltman, and they said the pains are still there, so they were looking from a respiratory point of view. So they actually done a CT scans, and all they could do, and then they said that after all these exhaustive tests and scans, they said, "Mr. Chand, we know what's not wrong with you, but we still don't know any wiser." And then I kept going on a monthly basis to see Dr. Voltman at his clinics, and with the hope that they might find something. And then one day I was there, it'll be about June time in 2006, and he had I remember it quite well, it was actually at the General Hospital, and I remember it quite well. And he had a junior doctor with him, and he normally asked for the consent if it's okay. I said, yeah, fine, no problem. And so they said to me, we can't really find anything wrong with you. We've done everything what we could. And then the junior doctor said that maybe we should actually test for this Benz-Jones protein. To me, I don't know what that was.
So that's a special protein in the urine, which is a marker of a myeloma, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah, that's what I came to find out afterwards.
Yes.
And then after that session, they gave me, they took a blood sample and a urine sample, and they said to come back in about 2 weeks' time, and then we'll have some results. And then when I went back, it says, I'm sorry to say, Mr. Chand, but we have found out what's wrong with you, but you've got myeloma. So, we've gone as far as we can, and then we need to hand you over to the hematologist at the Royal Infirmary. So I did thank him for perseverance.
Had you heard of myeloma?
I had not heard of myeloma prior to being diagnosed.
And it just shows you, with quite a rare condition, it can be difficult to get the diagnosis initially.
Yes, yeah, this is one of the problems, and you're losing time. You can have it, but you're losing time all the time till it gets diagnosed. And when I actually was, the hematologist at the Royal Infirmary, they had to reconfirm the diagnosis, which took about another 3 months through appointments and everything. And then by the time they actually found out the paraprotein level was 37, I think, milligrams per litre, whatever they go. And even though it was still early stages, but it needed intervention and treatment straight away, it did. And then to determine what damage has been done to my bones, I had actually had x-rays, and then also about November time, towards the end of November 2006, there was actually a two sessions, but one was a full skeletal survey followed by an MRI scan. And I went to the skeletal survey, they said nothing, but then went to the MRI scan, and then they kept me waiting after a while. It says, we just need to have a word with the doctor. And then that's when I found out that how serious the damage had been done by the myeloma. They told me I've got damage on the vertebrae, so it's T1, etc. And it says one of your vertebrae is collapsed, so it's actually pressing on your cord, so we need to keep you in. You're not going home, anything like that. So I was kept in their observation, and then they were very concerned about in case the vertebrae moved and caused any damage on the cord. And that took about a week. They were doing all their tests and everything, but then I said that it's not causing me a problem. I'm only feeling tingling, so it sort of convinced them to start the treatment rather than look at the vertebrae problem. So they started me on steroids that evening, and I really sort of didn't even have time to sort of take it all in, really. Everything was all sort of quite rushed, and when I actually did have time to take it in, and the thinking about the cancer, and the whole world around me had collapsed, because reflecting on my life as a healthy person throughout, and the number of times I've been on the sick, you can count on one hand throughout my working career because I enjoy my job and I look forward to going to work. And but to be told you've got cancer, and then the life expectancy I was given was only 2 to 3 years.
Really, yeah.
So that was devastating, and I really didn't know what it hit me and how to cope with it. And I was really, really sort of very, very worried about because of my family I've got a wife, got 3 children, two boys, and the youngest is a daughter, and they hadn't been settled in their own careers yet, and then they're still at university, and all sorts of things were going through my head. You know, so if I'd known I got cancer, I could actually sort of got them settled and prepared them. But everything, and the thought of actually only living for about 2-3 years was also very, very daunting. And although I never had depression, I don't know what depression was at that time, but I tended to shut myself off from the whole world. And because it'd been the winter months, and as soon as it got dark, I wanted to be home. You know, I didn't want to talk to anybody outside of my immediate family, which is my wife and 3 children. And just thinking, what will people think? He's got cancer. And the way to that big sea, it's phenomenal. You know, it is. And it took me quite a while to actually sort of come to terms with it.